Hello, my name is Dr. Caroline Walker and I'm an NHS trained psychiatrist and I specialise in the wellbeing of doctors. I've been making a series of videos about the emotional impact of COVID-19 on doctors and frontline staff. And I'd just like to thank all of you who've been sharing, commenting and watching these videos and sending such lovely feedback about how they've been helping. I'm so pleased, and please do let me know. Be in touch at caroline@joyfuldoctor.com if there's any particular topic that you'd like to see me talking about in these videos. Today I'm doing a weekly review of the week that we've had here in the UK and the week that we may have to come. We're heading into between sort of weeks 3 and 4 of what I've sort of seen as being the key weeks that have really impacted us emotionally as a nation and as a healthcare service here in the UK. And this week for me has been the theme that has come through has been a slightly more challenging and a deeper theme this week. There's been a lot of things that I've been talking to doctors about and hearing from doctors that has touched on this idea of just how extraordinary this situation we find ourselves in is, and how it's really quite hard sometimes to balance the sort of the good and the bad in the situation, that the dark and the light, that there's so many things about what's happening at the moment that are so challenging and so difficult, and yet there's also some incredibly wonderful moments and some real moments of gratitude and joy and pride, and just how difficult that is for us as human beings, actually, because that is very much the human experience that we all have, that we have good days and bad days. We have emotions that, you know, some of them are very easy and enjoyable, and some of them are really difficult, and I think we prefer to have it in one way or the other. We prefer to have, you know, that everything's going really well and great and we're feeling happy, and or we're more comfortable if things are going badly, if it's all really bad. So we find it very difficult to kind of hold both of those, and I've certainly been experiencing that in the last couple of weeks when you know, I'm on my WhatsApp groups, for example, and somebody will send through a GIF or a video or something funny, and sometimes I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, oh, that's brilliant, you know, it's really cheered me up, that was great. And other times it's like it's really uncomfortable because it's like, oh, I can't believe you've sent that, because actually, you know, don't you know that there's a pandemic going on and people are dying and there's like all of this pain and suffering, and so it can be really hard to, you know, allow ourselves, when something this big is going on, something this challenging and difficult is going on, that's stirring up so many difficult emotions. It can be really hard for us to sit with the more positive emotions, and yet I think it's really important that we allow a space for that as well, because it is part of being human. So, you know, it's very difficult. We're starting to see a lot of people with grief coming through at the moment, and a bit of trauma, and it's very difficult to stay in that state all of the time. So it's quite natural that we'll get kind of moments or hours or even days where things feel a bit easier, where things feel a bit lighter, and it feels okay, and we can laugh and we can joke again, and we can see things in a different perspective. And then the next day maybe we're back to feeling a bit rubbish again, and that is the normal nature of human emotional experience, and it can feel really quite strange to be kind of on this roller coaster, you know, 1 minute okay, the next minute not, and unfortunately the moods that we go through, the emotions we feel, don't always fit with our with the timing we would like them to. So, you know, I was you know, kind of hoping that I'd be able to get through my week feeling pretty good and, you know, be effective in my job helping doctors and frontline staff with their mental health, and then at the weekends maybe, you know, then I'd have time to kind of, you know, feel all the sadness and the grief and the whatever. But it just doesn't work like that. So, you know, Monday night I found I was really up, you know, sad. Tuesday morning I was really angry. Wednesday I was feeling a little bit stressed. Thursday, pretty good day, you know, and it kind of, but it, you know, life goes on, and then our emotions don't always kind of go in sync with what we're doing and what we want them to, and that in itself can be really difficult. And I think this week we're sort of, I'm sensing that a lot of people are frontline staff in particular, are starting to adjust to their sort of new normal, their new temporary normal, because obviously things are going to keep changing. But we're starting to feel slightly less like, I think weeks 1 and week 2 just slapped us across the face and went, you know, out of nowhere, like, oh my goodness, threw our whole lives up in the air. And now I'm starting to sense that we're gradually finding our feet, or at least adjusting to the idea that we might not find our feet for a while. And in some respects, there's a little bit of a relief in that. I think for a few people, things are really quite difficult and ramping up. But I'm sensing for a lot of us that it's kind of we've kind of had this awful slap across the face in the first week or two. This week it's like we're just readjusting. It's still not easy, and this week we've really started to have more difficult conversations with our patients, with each other, with our colleagues, with our loved ones, you know, asking them about their wishes, should they become unwell, and should the worst happen, and difficult conversations about you know, the rationing of care and the guidance around that, and so all of these sorts of, you know, slightly hard issues to grapple with are sort of coming at this point, and it can feel really uncomfortable, and I think for a lot it's raised quite a deep level of anxiety that you might see, a kind of like a death anxiety, I guess, like a kind of, you know, we're all having to face our mortality at the moment, in a very, very real way, and that is really hard to do at the best of times, but right now it's like it's just hit us all at once, and we're all facing it together, and it can feel quite jarring, and there are other times when you just sort of think it's all just a big dream and wish you could wake up and none of this was happening. And alongside those sort of really difficult things that we're facing, there's all of this really lovely stuff happening at the same time. So there's communities coming together to help one another. There's nations gathering in unison to clap and cheer and support their key workers through this crisis. There's incredible achievements being made, you know, entire massive hospitals being built in a matter of days, and entire communities, you know, pulling together to achieve and meet the needs of the humans in their community, and, you know, unbelievable. And even at this time where we feel like we're sort of disconnecting slightly from our loved ones because we can't see them face to face, there's so much reconnecting going on at the same time as well. You know, I've heard a lot of doctors saying that they're seeing their loved ones more than they ever did right now, because they're kind of having to, you know, make that effort to do it online and by phone and in different ways. And there's a real sense of I was trying to find meaning from this extraordinary experience, and trying to make sense of it, to find a story in it that kind of helps us through that, you know, to find meaning and a purpose, and to really think about those deeper truths about what it means to be a human being, you know, those underlying givens that we can't, you know, dispute, that we're born and we live and we die, and in the middle of that we kind of all trying to just make some sort of understanding or meaning out of what our existence is about. And actually for many of us, I'm hearing a lot of people saying they're really appreciating that opportunity to stop, actually, and to not be on autopilot and to slow down. You know, I was queuing for the pharmacy today to collect some medications, and we were queuing 2 meters apart outside of the pharmacy and going in sort of one at a time, and it just felt like everything in life had slowed down, and it was a really lovely experience. You know, I was talking and with people and looking at people in a way that I wouldn't normally, because I'd normally be kind of rushing and, you know, just straight in there, straight out, and you know, almost not really noticing all of this life going on around. So yeah, I've had a lot of people commenting on things like that this opportunity, this experience that we're all going through right now is actually opening their minds in really wonderful ways, as well as causing, you know, lots of distress. And I guess I just want to finish on saying, you know, that all of it is okay. That, you know, if you're feeling happy 1 minute, that's okay. If you're feeling sad, that's okay. That all of these different parts of us are okay. And we can't have, it's a part of the human experience. We can't have the highs and the wonderful, the love and the compassion and the pride and the joy and the gratitude without having the pain and the sorrow and despair. And we can't have hope without hopelessness, and we can't have joy without despair. You know, it's kind of just that, it's being human. And I think this experience is really helping us to get in touch with that, and that's not always easy, but it is okay. And if this is something that's speaking to you, if you're struggling with these sort of slightly deeper thoughts or these more sort of existential rumblings, then you know it's okay. And I think a lot of us are going through that right now, and we are in this together, in this human experience of COVID-19. I'm going to end there, and I just want to flag again, if any of you out there are listening to this and you're really struggling, please do get in touch at caroline@joyfuldoctor.com. I'd be really happy to signpost you to any support you might need. And I'd also just like to flag up the Practitioner Health website here in the UK. It's practitionerhealth.nhs.uk. They have a COVID wellbeing page which is being updated every single day with all of the resources and support available to all frontline staff. So please do check that page out, and keep following and liking and commenting and sharing these videos, and letting me know if there's anything else you would like me to make a video on. I'm going to leave it there for today, but I'll speak to you soon. Bye.